Welcome to Wrestling with Goals, Conceive, Believe, and Achieve podcast, where we delve into the minds of elite athletes and coaches to uncover their secrets behind their success. I'm your host, Coach Geris, former university wrestling coach, D1 wrestler, national champion, Olympic trials medalist, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, a three-time world team coach in grappling, and author. Join me as we explore the realms of training, mindset, goal setting, overcoming adversity, and various coaching methodologies in the world of sports. Welcome to Wrestling with Goals, the Conceive, Believe, and Achieve podcast. Today I'm with a special individual who has medaled on the world stage at the U23 World Championships this year. It is Serena Di Benedetto. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. I know.
My last name is always mispronounced, so I just wanted to welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I want to congratulate you on the silver medal. How has life changed since you got back from the championships?
Not too much of a drastic change. I kind of came home and had to go back into school. So I've just really been focusing on school now because I missed a week while I was there. But the support and the love has certainly changed, and the outreach from other coaches and athletes, and even just like other programs in general in the States and here just congratulating me has been, bigger than I've ever received before, because this is my highest accomplishment. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what about the Canadian side of things? You talked about the U.S., the Canadian side of things. You said coaches are reaching out to you, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of just tournaments to watch, high school tournaments, but also we started varsity right when I got back, and so I decided to just sit back and watch a little bit, and just a lot of people coming up to me, and especially other wrestling friends that I have coming up to me, and even people that I don't know but they know me, or they know my dad, or they just know me as his daughter, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about how you got into wrestling first. We've already talked about your biggest accomplishment so far, okay? But let's talk about that. Then we'll get into your experience at the World Championships, because I want to hear about that as well. But I want to hear how you started off in the sport of wrestling.
Well, I didn't actually start wrestling at a super young age. I feel like a lot of my teammates and friends kind of started and I don't know, when they were 6 or whatever, but I got into gymnastics and soccer for 10 years before I actually started really getting into wrestling. And that was because my mom was a rhythmic gymnast. And so I actually thought I was going to either be a high level gymnast or a professional, semi-professional soccer player. But there's just a lot of, I guess you say controversy between soccer and also into gymnastics once you get at higher levels. So my dad wrestled actually at McMaster, and then also his brother as well, so my uncle, and then my older brother. I have a older brother who's 2 years older than me, and he wrestled at my high school, but also went to McMaster and wrestled here for a little bit too. And so I just got into it because of them, and I just saw that I was a little bit better at it and I could go even further with it being an individual sport, whereas soccer is team-based and gymnastics is just, you have to have a lot of money to do it. So yeah. So, and then I've just been so athletic my whole life that wrestling, with doing gymnastics since I was young, it helps with flexibility and scrambling and all that kind of stuff. And soccer, I guess, can help with your footwork and moving your feet and stuff like that. So everything that I've done since I was a kid has kind of translated into wrestling. And I think that that's why I'm as successful as I've been so far.
Mm-hmm. I was just watching one of your videos against the Swedes, or the Swede, I should say.
Yeah.
You were fighting one. And you put yourself into some, there's
Yeah.
one part I think it was, she had her head or your leg over your head and you ducked underneath it. It was just an odd way to kind of to go about it. And I thought, there's got to be something else there. There's got to be another sport that's been behind you prior to getting into wrestling. So that was rhythmic gymnastics and soccer.
I started with rhythmic, but I wasn't. Rhythmic's the one where you use the apparatuses.
Yep.
But I did artistic, which is just like the bar flipping and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I also like dabbled in track and field and cross country as well. But I absolutely hate running. So I stopped doing that because it didn't really become enjoyable after elementary school because it's more fun and whatever. But then it kind of became like a chore to me. And so I just stopped that and
Yeah.
focused on wrestling.
I'm 250 pounds, so I can tell you wrestling is not my forte. Running is not my forte.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I don't know what about it attracts people. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
No.
So what I guess, where was the push for wrestling? How did you enter into the sport?
Honestly, like a big credit is to my dad for sure. Like, not that he was forcing it on me or anything. It was just kind of like, because he really thought like I was not gonna wrestle. He's like, nah, like she won't wrestle. Like when I was a kid, and his friends who were coaches, who's actually like one of my coaches now, was like, oh no, she's gonna be a great wrestler. And he's like, no, she's not gonna wrestle. And then he would just bring me to practice with him. And then we used to have like one little tournament in elementary school with a bunch of other elementary schools. And so I would like compete like once a year. And then once I got into grade 9, I made my first world team. And my dad was just like, it's either you go or, you don't. And yeah, I think if you're capable of making a world team, why not see how far you can go? And it's funny because I wasn't into it as much when I first started in the 9th grade because I, missed my old sports. And I was still it was like kind of my first year of intense like club. And so to make like a world team, I was like unsure. And so I wasn't even going to go to my first Pan Am Championships where I like ended up placing 3rd, which was like big for like Canada at least. Like, and to think that I wasn't even going to go. And then I think after that tournament, I saw how fun it is to travel and to be with. And I met so many people. I met like people who I'm still friends with to this day. And so it was mainly my dad who not pushed me, but guided me into the right direction.
Yeah, I think we do that as parents. We have a little bit of push, but it's more guidance. I mean, I was pushed, so I won't hide that fact. But I did enjoy it. Now, I'm imagining that you have amazing support at home as a result of the background. Sometimes parents have to, when they get a kid into sport, they have to relearn the rules and stuff. But your dad already knew it. Did you ever spend time with your dad on the mat? Are you saying?
Oh yeah, like he my high school is Bishop Ryan Catholic Secondary School in Hamilton, and it's a really big wrestling school. Like I would say that's when you think of BR, you think of wrestling, and that's because my dad and Sheldon Francis, who now runs the program, they Sheldon came from there, and so my dad coached him, and then Francis coached me, and then but my dad was always kind of like an assistant when I got there, and so he would help me. And even when we're at home, he's always like, oh, I saw this video, like whatever, we like have a hot tub, so we'll go in the hot tub and we'll talk about wrestling. Like pretty much half of our conversations are mostly wrestling, but also it got to a point where I didn't want him like coaching me. I think there's that like between child and parent, sometimes it's a little too much, but now I would like love to have him in my corner. I think now that I'm older and like more mature and, seeing how he really just only wants the best. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I know I've got 2 daughters, and they, it's coaching them it is difficult.
Yeah.
There's that father-son or father-daughter relationship you don't want to ruin. And you cross that boundary sometimes when you are a coach. So it's kind of good that maybe your dad took a back seat, and then Sheldon take the reins after that, right? And so you're at Mac, right? McMaster University.
Yeah.
You're taking English, like you said before. Mac is not well known and currently well known for wrestling. It was when Nick Cipriano was there back in the day. But it's building itself this reputation now. And of course, with the added silver medal that somebody won,
Yeah.
I think Mac's getting a little bit of attention. How's that feeling from your school? Are you getting some support from the school as well?
Oh yeah, like 100%. I chose McMaster because um, I would train here before I actually was like a part of the team, and it's also extremely like close to home. Like it's like 20 minutes from here, and so even coming in, like I had friends who were already at McMaster, and because I had so much experience with wrestling, I just kind of excelled my first year. I ended up getting McMaster Rookie of the Year. And so they kind of took into account also like our, like, I guess, outside of varsity accomplishments, and which is like super nice. And then also recently they just put up, we have these doors at the gym, and they put up a big like mural of a bunch of athletes, and I ended up being one of them on it. So it was pretty nice. Now that's just there I'm assuming until I graduate, and then they'll put maybe new people up. But I think that was just to kind of showcase like the star athletes, I guess you could say. Um,
Yeah, I think that's, for us up in Canada, that's kind of different. And a lot of Canadians don't really, they don't know how to respond to that. That's a huge thing in the US. I went to school in the US, and, your athletes were always plastered all over the place,
mhm,
whether it's, and then again, we talked about the stuff that, we need to do up here in Canada to get this sport recognized. And those are the little things like that, like, putting yourself, having the school put you up like that.
mhm,
That supports the sport, not just you, but it supports the sport as well, which is great
yeah,
for future wrestlers to come as well, which is
mhm.
awesome. I want to talk to you about the recruiting. I'm guessing you did, or you didn't get recruited to go to Mac. It's kind of like almost a given that you're going.
Yeah, I did get recruited because I kind of at first I like wasn't sure if I wanted to come to McMaster. I wasn't sure if I wanted to like do something new somewhere else because my older brother came here, my uncles came here, my dad came here. So I was like, I don't know, maybe I want to be like different and like go somewhere else and see what I can do there. But then I, made more friends on this team who are older than me, and then also a big factor of it was my grandpa ended up coming to live with us now, and so I don't think I could really handle not seeing him as much as I do. So he was. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but he was a really, really big factor in why I ended up staying home. But also I just ended up realizing how much I really like McMaster. But it was really only between Mac and Brock, and although Brock is like amazing, and um, I would have, if I had two lives, considered going there the second time. But yeah, it was just
Well, you know what? I love seeing the fact that the program at Mac is producing individuals like yourself, because, again, it's competition for everybody, and that's what we need. I think more and more competition. Not just domestically or domestically, yes, and internationally as well. But it starts domestically when we have more competition like that. So
mhm.
great for youth sport, for one thing.
Yeah,
Because you get tired of kind of seeing the same team.
yeah,
It's like watching Iowa. Well, now it's Penn State win all the time. You hope for
yes, yeah.
somebody to upset them. So yeah, now you
Mhm.
see McMaster kind of creeping up. You've got Owen Dawkins in Alberta doing the same thing. So looking for it's Sheldon who's the head coach there.
No, it's Ahmed Shamia.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
That's all right. Aved Shemia. So did I say that?
Ahmed.
Ahmed. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And what is his background?
he's Arabic.
Arabic, and I haven't heard the name, so he's new to me. So he's taking the helm of the wrestling team there, and how is that going?
It's going well. He's kind of like a newer coach. Maybe that's why you ever heard of him, like Nick Cipriano. But
Hmm.
I think this is fifth year, so like kind of newer, but
Yeah.
also kind of not. Um, he's doing well. I think he's I think we have a really, or we've always had kind of a stronger men's program, and so I think ever since he kind of came in, he recruited a lot of girls in the first couple of years that he was here, including myself and a bunch of my other teammates, and I think that really has inched us closer towards like a team like Brock or like a OUA title and U Sport title.
Hmm. And how is the coaching style different from the coaching that you experienced at Bishop Bryan?
I definitely had a more personal relationship with my high school coach because he is more of like a family friend to me than like a coach, because my dad coached him, and he was like kind of there when I was born, and I was there when his kids were born. So we're kind of just like a family. But I think high school is so much smaller than university, and a lot less intense, I guess you could say. So you have a lot more time to focus on certain people, or just, take time and do things. Whereas varsity season is so like go, 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 and very short. So yeah, but now that I'm at McMaster, I find that it's hard to individually coach everybody, and it's hard to run a big practice, making sure it's catered to this person or this person. So they always try to make it as catered as possible to like everybody, which I think is just the bigger difference. I think it's just because you're at a higher skill level than you would be at a high school like practice, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so have you noticed anything like, all right, let me ask you this, because we are about goal setting. uh, Prior to your U23 this year, did you change up your training in any way? Did you set different goals? And if you did, how do you go about setting the goals, and how do you go about accomplishing them?
Well, I kind of started after being off for a little bit because I went to Spain in July, and then I was kind of in like a little bit of like a rut, just kind of really tired, and not really feeling motivated during the summer to really do much. And so when school started, I think the atmosphere of being all together again kind of uplifted me a lot more. So I was able to kind of train like a lot more and increase volume, or be able to work with a bunch of different people, whether it be just like with one other person, like in the summer, which is normally like usually what happens because people go home, and there's not many people around. And a lot of people, if you're not competing for a world team, you don't tend to train in the summer. It's kind of just like time off of school, time to like get your body ready, I guess, for like varsity for the upcoming season. But nothing really, I didn't change anything drastically. I think I'm always kind of training pretty similarly. I think the only thing I really changed was, the amount of live goes that I did in practice, or to like emulate, tournament day, or just like an extra workout session, or nothing like extreme. And then also like eating healthy and stuff to make weight.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important announcement.
Looking for top-tier healthcare in the GTA? Look no further than the Core Optimum Health Center. Founded by Dr. Pat Graham, official chiropractor for the Toronto Blue Jays, their clinic offers a wide range of services, including physiotherapy, chiropractic care, acupuncture, massage therapy, naturopath, and more, all in a caring professional environment. They also are proud partners with the Shift Concussion Management Program, offering the latest concussion care and online neurocognitive impact testing at their Mississauga location. At the Core, your health is their priority. Visit the Core Optimum Health Center today and experience industry-leading care. So you added a few little things that tweaked to it from last year, and it catapulted you to the silver medal then.
Yeah.
Little things. So you already had a good base, and what you're saying is that basically you got to tweak a few things, made yourself work a little bit harder in practice, a little bit harder outside of practice, nailed down your diet. Did you have any help in regards to any of that?
My dad is super involved as well. We would, if I couldn't make it down to McMaster for a workout session because it was, I don't know, far or traffic or whatever, we would just go to my uncle's, who lives like 10 minutes away, and he would, get me motivated to work out there instead of having to like do it by myself. Because that's where I find I struggle. I find I need like at least one person with me so that way we can like motivate each other. So yeah, my dad was super helpful in that way.
Do you do anything with mindset? Do you like with athletic mindset? There's a lot of research that goes into pushing people through past their limits and stuff like that. Do anything with yourself in regards to that, or is it just kind of let things happen?
Recently I kind of just have let things happen, but ever since coming second, I've tried to reach out to like a sports psych and just really trying to better, my mental game, just because I think I kind of finally realized like that I am capable of, getting a world medal. And so I think it's time to just start taking that a little more seriously. And yeah.
Okay. So let's go to that day, those days at the World Championships. So you arrive on site. Where was it again?
It was in Albania.
Albania. And tell me about the trip.
The trip was fun. I've been on a lot of trips, and some of them are, I definitely can say, really bad. But this one, maybe because of how I performed, it was really good. We were actually in Albania for the last U23 Worlds as well. So I'd already kind of been here before, and so it was the same venue, which was kind of nice because it was a little familiar, I guess, and nothing like scary or anything. It was nice. We were right by like the ocean, but we were also in the middle of nowhere at the same time. So I did not leave the hotel. But that's like, I don't know. That's the problem with these trips is you're not there to, it's not vacation. I think a lot of people like who don't wrestle, they're like, oh wow, like you go to all these places and you get to, travel and whatever. But I'm like, they call it vacation. I was like, this is not vacation. I was like, it's enjoyable like at times, but it's not vacation. Like, but the hotel was really nice. Overall, the trip was really good.
Yeah. No, I don't think people do understand. My brother used to work at RIM, and he'd take off to all over the world just to do business with different countries. And I said to him, "How is it?" And he's like, I only see the inside of a hotel, and then that's it. It's not fun." So I mean, you going over to like you said, all these countries through competition, you get to see the country, but sometimes you just don't get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So the enjoyment that you did have was probably more so on the mat.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the wrestling, the going into it. I mean, you've had experiences before at this level, but what was kind of different? Was there a different vibe this time around?
I think just the atmosphere, the people I was around, compared to previous, they were just very uplifting and just confident in me, mostly, which was really nice. And I also know a couple people from other different countries as well. We previous to coming to Albania, we went to Italy for a week with Western University. They invited me to come with them, which was really nice. And I had in the previous U23 championships last year, I'd met the Italian coach. And because I'm Italian, I kind of introduced myself and possibly could use him as like a source because I do visit family and we're super close to Rome, which is where they train. And so I was like, oh, maybe I can connect with him. And if I'm there ever, like, come by. And so then we ended up being invited down and then we all went to like the U23s together. And so it was nice that, I had Canadian support, Italy support, and a couple other people I knew from like America and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you're getting prepared for your matches. Is there any like rituals that you do, prior to this time?
Well, obviously we warm up, but after that, I actually did something new this year because the coach that was there, David Spinney from Western, he was like kind of my main coach there because Ahmed wasn't able to come. Him and Maddie Parks were kind of the two main people. And usually I'm super like I get really nervous, and which is something I definitely have to work on, but I get nervous, and I just, if I'm kind of by myself and alone, I like think about it too much. And so I like to just kind of like have someone talking to me and just not even talk about wrestling, like just forget about it, whatever. And so Spinny like made me try something new and just like sit there and wait for him to like come get me to go up and like walk into the venue or whatever. And at first, like I would like get up and go check, if, how many more bouts are my matches, whatever. And he's like, oh, sit down, like whatever. And so I'd be sitting there. And I actually think like I'm going to start doing that a lot more because I think it really helped me just sit there, listen to my music and just kind of watch everything around me. I didn't realize how much it actually kind of calmed me down. And then, you get up and you get called to go. And so you're not bouncing around. And because I know there's a lot of people who like, they bounce around, they do all this like movement stuff. And I like used to do that, but I think I just kind of like to sit and wait and be more calm. I think I think that helped me a lot this tournament. So it was nice.
Yeah. What kind of music were you listening to?
Just like, well, actually I have like an Italian playlist. And so I usually just pick a playlist per tournament. And so I was playing that. And then on the second day of competition, my favorite artist came out with a new song. So I was like, obviously I have to listen to that. So that was just like on repeat pretty much all day. So yeah.
That concludes part 1 of this episode. Part 2 will be released next week. I hope you found today's episode insightful and inspiring. Your support means the world to us, so don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a comment in the section below. Your feedback fuels our journey to bring you more valuable content and stories from the realm of sports. Until next time, keep pushing boundaries, believing in yourself, and achieving greatness. Thank you for listening.